Hey, Anonymai, wanted to do something a little different today. I am getting ready to send in a batch to NGC, and some of these are for keepers, and some of these I'm hoping to get good grades on to flip and help pay for the submission with some sales. And I thought it would be fun to run through what I'm going to send in and then tell you what grade I think I'm going to get. Now, there won't be any surprises. You can see right in front of you what my guess is. The reason I wrote it down is so we can go back and I can save this piece of paper and we can bring it back when the submission returns. And so I've got these in two sections. The economy submissions, anything from 1964 or older, and then the modern submissions from 1965 or newer. They're also in order of denomination, from cents up to dollars. And rather than waste time, let's jump right in. I've got a nice 1945 Denver that I think is worthy of a 67. The amount of contact marks is certainly worth the 67. The only kind of hang that may cause some critique would be perhaps the luster. It's not quite as bright as some of the Wheaties that I typically send in, as you'll see here in a moment. So anyway, 45D, 67. Now here I have a run of 354S's that I have. And as I spoke about luster, this is what I'm talking about. All of these are really stunning. I might zoom in a bit more, since I've already shown you my cheat sheet, and I can say it verbally to you. I think this is worthy of a 67. That has heavy die polish lines on the reverse, and then not so much on the obverse, but just super clean. Same thing here, 54S, worthy of a 67. Last 54S, worthy of a 67. Now, so you may know, those three came out of rolls that I have. They were very beautiful high-end rolls that were loaded from about MS65 up to 67s. The whole roll was very clean. This is the final raw, loose one that I have of a 1955 S over S over S. I already showed you guys the two that I did send in, and this is the last one here. It looks great on camera. To my eye, there are a couple of hits that I'm having a hard time depicting here on his cheek that are kind of deep. And I think everything about this coin is a 66 except those two hits on his cheek. They're pretty severe. This is the better strike of the whole batch that I found, but those hits are hard. We'll have to see. I'm predicting 65. I would love a 66 to be proven wrong. My prediction is 65. I have already shown you these, so I won't spend too much time on them. But these are the 1961s that I was slobbering over. I'm trying to be a little sly here with the grading service. This first one here and the second one, I believe, are 66s or 66 pluses, and I believe that that's what they'll get. However, the reason I'm sending them in is I'm priming the pump for the graders so that they can see when they give it a 66. I want them to be able to notice that the next coin up, the coin on deck is nicer. And so I'll send in the weakest two and then hit them with this one, which is a 67. If that doesn't get a 67, frankly, I'm going to be a little miffed. And so I have to be prepared to be a little miffed, but the color is amazing. The luster is amazing. The strike is amazing. It's worthy of a 67, as is this one right here. Out of the 6, I expect that perhaps maybe one of them will actually get the 67. These two, I think, are also worthy of a 67 in their own ways. This one's all red. It doesn't have a lot of color gradation like the other one does, but it's beautiful. So I think 4, and just for the record, I think 4 out of 6 of those are 67s, and I think the first 2 that I led with are 66s. So they're very stingy with those high grades. All right, next up, Some kind of ordinary dates, very common stuff. I think this is an uncommon condition. This is what I believe to be a PR69. I looked at this under the loop. There is simply no chatter, no marks, no abrasion, maybe a couple of specks that you can see with the loop, but this thing is super clean. I think that's a PR69. Next up, a somewhat common date of Ben Franklin half dollar. However, I think we have an uncommon coin. This is a 1954 Philadelphia, and it is a full bell line. You can see if we hit the light on it, there is distinction, and you can see every line with no major interruptions anywhere. The chatter is pretty minimal, and I think that this is an MS65 full bell line. Now this is a fun one right here. I've showed this on a short, I think, but the color is wild. You can see it there. It's that blue. It's really gorgeous. Some purple peeking through. I think this was an N coin. But anyway, this is not a full bell line coin. You can see the lines breaking on the bottom of the bell. This was an end coin, and there's a little bit of toning starting to peek through on the edges. I'm doing this because I love the coin and I want to preserve it and encase it. And I don't think this is above an MS64. No full bell line. MS64. Next up, another common one. This is a really beautiful 1964 proof Kennedy. The front is worthy of almost a 70. However, the reverse, I believe, has a little bit of spotting between the olive branch and the wing, and then one spot down here between the tail feather and the stars. Because of those spots, and because it can be seen with the naked eye, I'm going to go with PR68. No cameo designation. I don't think it's worthy of that. Now, this is a friend of mine's. He's sneaking this in the submission. This is an 81S, and it is BU. Really, I mean, the color, I don't want to just step over that. The color is amazing. That's what makes this worthy of any slab, regardless of the grade. But it has great cartwheel luster. The reverse is beautiful. I think the reverse is a slam dunk 64. I would say the same thing about the obverse, except this longer rounded gouge that just goes through the field. It carries through the field, and it's distracting. I think we're looking at a 63, MS63. This one here is equally, if not more, beautiful, with perfect target toning from an antique display case. This thing took decades to get to the point that it was at. I do think that there are some high spot aberrations starting to show on this, and that would drop it down into AU. I'm going to give this an AU 55. It would not surprise me if they put a star on it, though. It is magnificent. Okay, I'm going to move over to the modern, and I have some pretty ones in here. This is just an 86D, and I won't beat around the bush or belabor it. I think this is an MS68. It's very well struck. It's not the tip top of strikes, but it is like a good solid B or B plus strike. The luster is an A. The amount of contact marks is an A. It's really a gorgeous coin. I think that's an MS68 red. This one right here, 95D, it's got good color, touch of rainbow on the edges. There is one bag mark below the chin. There is one little nick in the stairs. I don't even know if you can see it. I had to use my loop to see it. Beautiful color on the reverse up near United States of America. You can see it popping out. It might be a little bit of a hope stretch, but it's a it's a 67 at a minimum. But because of the color, I was kind of hoping that maybe this would kick it up to a 68 for premium color. I will start off with my West Point. I think this is the weaker of the 3 that I'm sending in, or of the 2 that I'm sending in. It's a 19 American Memorial Park. I think this is a 65. There's a little bit of distracting chatter on her arm, on the flagpole. The stairs are very crisp. There is some chatter on really just the field and the face. It's a 65, that's my guess. The next one that I'm sending in, same mint mark. This one's a little cleaner. I think it's a 66. There is not chatter on her elbow. I think there's one little bump in one of the steps. Flags are a lot cleaner. I think this is worthy of a 66. This one, again, belongs to my buddy that had the 2 Morgans that he's sneaking in. There are a couple of deeper scratch distractions on this. Otherwise, it's very clean. I think this is going to fall into the 65, MS 65. This one right here, this is one of those ones that it's probably not worth the money, but I really wanted to do it anyway. I found it, I cut it out of the set. This is a 1965 SMS half dollar. It is not the cleanest example. It has a little bit of a haze. However, it has some very attractive cameo. I don't think that it's going to get cameo because the obverse is worthy of it. The reverse is not. And so what I think we'll have here is an SP66, hopefully with a star. I'm sending this in, hoping they give it a star. And then last but not least, I didn't have a video on this, but in the last silver search that my friend and I did, we found 30-something silvers, split them up, and I took my loop out and scoped it. And as you can see, this is not even a BU coin. I will get out ahead of that and say I think this is AU53. You may ask, why am I sending this in? This is FS-102. If you want some good clear pictures, you can head out to Variety Vista, and there are some good pictures of the doubled devices on this. The main ones that I was able to identify were on the Y here in Liberty, and then the T's, the serifs on the edges of the T on Trust, and the U and the S. This is somewhat it's not terribly valuable. I mean, it is. That's why I'm sending it in, is to get it attributed. But it seems to be very rare. There were only like 10 examples ever graded at PCGS, and if I read it right, maybe 1 at NGC. So I'm going to get this slabbed up and attributed. Why not? I'll see if I can sell it. I'm not really into varieties as much as most people. But that's what I wanted to do. Wanted to show you my predictions of what I, not what I'm hoping for, but really my honest to goodness expectation of what I ought to get if the grades are right on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you don't mind subscribing to us, and you will be able to follow up and see the reveal when I finally do get to that. But I'm filming this in November, and I would expect this to be a New Year's surprise. So I will see you guys in the next video. Subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you don't mind, and I will, well, no, I'll just say happy hunting.